So we are here making some Boxty. I think that's how you pronounce it. Or an Irish potato pancake. So I'm super excited about this. So the interesting thing about potato pancakes is that this is not just an Irish dish. I know my grandma used to make them all the time. Um, so there's other cultures that use this dish as well. Just call it a little bit different. So let's get cooking. We have some grated raw potatoes here. And I kind of squeezed out the moisture. There wasn't much moisture in them, but that's all right. And next what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I have some homemade, just freshly made mashed potato. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the bowl with it. And we're going to give that a good mix and stir it up. The mashed potatoes is going to help that to kind of stick together as we make our batter. I do have a little bit of a cold, so just bear with me here. Is that about a cup? I think I have a little bit more than a cup. So hopefully I have a good enough for, just give it a good stir. Let me know if you guys have checked out the potato passport. If not, let me know and I can send that to you. It's a fun little way to get your family to eat potatoes 4 different ways this month as we talk about Irish cuisine. And I know I've done, obviously this dish, I did the shepherd's pie, which is another way to enjoy potatoes. We did the loaded baked potatoes. So right there's 3. I might have done a mashed potato one. I didn't get the Kilcannon one in yet. I'm slowly working through all my content. I've been having some internet issues. So it's coming, I promise. All right, so we want a good balance of everything. You guys can kind of see that. I know the lighting's like really bad. I apologize. I think it's all nice and sticky together. All right, cool. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in some flour. About half a cup of milk. We're going to add in 1 egg. I'm going to wash my hands really quick. I have a barbecue chicken cooking to go with this. It's maple season here in New Hampshire, so I figured I would use some fresh maple barbecue sauce to kind of go with this. I was thinking, I don't know why, but we're gonna add in some pepper, some salt, which I paid. This is not the one I opened, but that's it. We're just gonna put a little bit. We're not gonna put a lot. And then I'm gonna add some cheese to this too, because I think this dish needs a little bit of cheese. That's a common cheese blend of some Irish cheese, the Kerrygold, and Parmesan cheese. So I think that's gonna taste really good with this. So that's my little twist. I always like to add my own little twist whenever I do a cooking demo. So we're basically gonna try and stir this up until we get a nice thick batter. And then we're gonna take it over to the stove and fry it up. So we're gonna do about a 1/4 cup. I'm actually gonna do a 1/3 cup of batter. And I have a trying to think, a griddle that's preheated already. You can do this in a fry pan as well. I just figured it'd be easier in a griddle because there's a lot here. So I can get more done in a shorter amount of time. Because the goal of these recipes is to give you guys back your time to spend with your family and to enjoy your meal and not have to stress about getting it done and then rushing to clean up. So if you have a griddle, it will make it so much easier. All right, guys. Batter is kind of thick. It looks good, I think. I've never made this before, so I honestly don't know. I'm just going off experience of making batters before, and we'll see what happens. We're going to go ahead and head to the stove. Give me 1 second to make you guys over so we can warm. I'm kind of excited about this because it is, I figured this is an easy recipe to kind of make. This requires a little bit of prep work. My cold is horrible right now. All right, I'm going to put you guys here, on the toaster. Just bear with me here. Or maybe. Can you guys see that griddle right here? Yeah. All right, I'm going to use a measuring cup. Oh my God. And I'm just gonna kind of use my finger and smooth out the top a little bit. And then we're just gonna go ahead and throw it on there and flatten it out. We're just gonna let them cook for a couple minutes, probably like 3 to 5, or until they get nice and brown. And I'm gonna grab a plate to put them on. All right, so we're gonna let these cook. Let's talk about Boxty a little bit. So in Ireland, potatoes are one of the most popular um, dishes or vegetables that they have because they're easy to grow and they're very popular. Some ideas for this, like I said, I'm doing barbecue chicken, but you could make this with breakfast for eggs. With cheese, we added the cheese, sour cream, bacon, or with like an Irish stew. And this works well for picky eaters because it's basically just potatoes. And what you could do is you could have your kids actually mix in the mashed potatoes with it. And it's a new way to introduce the potato in a different way with a familiar ingredient. And there's actually a rhyme that goes with this dish. It's boxy on the griddle, boxy on the pan. If you can't make boxy, you'll never get a man. That's obviously not true, but it's kind of cute and chimey. Excuse me. Got something in my throat. So let me know if you think you and your family would try this. Yeah, so we're gonna let them cook about 3 to 4 minutes. Hold this. I gotta hold this. I'll probably in a minute. I'm gonna wash my hands. Oh man. All right. I'm gonna grab my whisk here. From Pampered Chef. I kind of just get a feel for what's happening right now. Let's see. Nope, not quite ready there. I'm in the element. I do have it on a low heat because the griddle does heat up pretty fast, so I'll turn it up a little bit. I did pre-oil the pan. You want to make sure that you do oil because potatoes are very starchy and they will stick. So that's it, guys. That's really boxy. It's raw potatoes, basically grated up. mashed potatoes mixed in, and then you add your milk, flour, salt, and pepper. But then we added some extra cheese as well to give it a little bit more flavor. You could probably add some fresh parsley to it. If you wanted to add a little heat to it, you could probably put in like some cayenne pepper, chipotle seasoning. Have fun with it. You can always season it as well, the way you would make mashed potatoes, um, and whatnot. And this is a great recipe if you have leftover mashed potatoes as well. Great way to use that up. Did you know that you can actually prep your potatoes ahead of time? So if you wanted to make this recipe and you also want to make mashed potatoes or whatever, hash browns for breakfast, if you want to do a whole batch cooking on potatoes, which I'll probably do again, um, you can literally store your potatoes in a bowl covered with water if they're unpeeled and already like cut up into small pieces. They won't go bad in the fridge if they're covered with water. So the water will help prevent them from getting like that brownness. But that one looks ready. Sweet. Let's see what we got here, guys. I'm excited. I can grab it. Ah, no, fell apart. It looks good though. I might have to grab a different tool. I think that's what we're looking for. Um, there you go. Perfect. Look at that one. That one's like perfect. I love it. Um, or do. That's great. That looks awesome. So we'll see how they taste. But that's basically what you're kind of looking for. And the nice thing about using a griddle like this, like I said, you can make a lot at one time. What I can actually do is go ahead and get these cooking. Because we're actually eating dinner in about 15 minutes. So I'm going to use a little helper here to get this out as well. Because batter is kind of sticky. Could probably put more milk in. Um, but we're going to use the back. Well, one's getting there. Nice. Being turning the heat up a little bit helps. There's probably a better way to do this part of it, the messy part of it. Um, but this is what's working right now. And let this cook a few more minutes. Really important. Ah, kind of sticking the thing together. You can see how I think it's done on one side. I am kind of touching them together, closer together. That one's not really a round one, but whatever. I'm wondering part of it is the batter might be a little too thick. If I use whipping cream instead of milk in my mashed potatoes, so I'm wondering if that could be part of it too, is because the whipping cream is a little bit thicker than milk. Um, but yeah, so basically what you're looking for here is I would say that golden brown. So you want to make sure those raw potatoes get done and the flour cooks, because that can make you sick too. So you never want to eat raw potatoes because they can make you sick. And then obviously the flour, it's an all-purpose flour. So unless it's high treated flour, it can get you sick. So those are the two things that you want to make sure, food contaminant wise and food illness wise. I always like to make people aware of that you want to be careful of. So let's check this beauty right here. That looks really good. If you press on it and it doesn't bounce back, you know it's probably done. But I'm gonna let it cook a little bit longer there. Oh my gosh, everything I make lately has a hair on it. I think it's time for me to get a haircut. It's ridiculous. Everything. All right. I'm gonna check this little one out here. Maybe. Yeah, that one. Let's flip this one. Perfect. Let me know if you guys, if this is something you guys will try. I did post the recipe here as well in the community. So make sure you guys check that out. So right here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5, 6 on here if you count this one. I know that's just positive. So yeah, that's how you make boxty, guys. Another great side dish. And honestly, like if you're a vegan or vegetarian, you could probably turn this into a meal. You can actually live off of potatoes, because they are so full of nutrients, and they're so good for you. So that is also another cool fact about potatoes and why I think they're such a universal food, meaning that most of it's one of the more popular foods that you'll find, right? Potatoes and rice are your two most used foods across the world. So I'm just trying to get these brown a little bit more because I just want to make sure they're nice and cooked on the middle and the center. Or obviously, you could thicken the batter, or I mean, make the batter a little bit thinner if you add some probably more milk to it. Don't use whipping cream like I did. But yeah, these are looking good. Again, I haven't really had these before, so based on what I'm reading and the recipe that I'm following, this is definitely what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you guys have a great night. And the recipe is in the community. Bye.